Now at 9, tax statements arrive soon and Missourians over 60 could see credits.
Students from Chanute Christian Academy learn about their planet from a very unique perspective. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll give you an inside look coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As the end of the year approaches, so does your property tax bill. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Dow Quick. Missouri and Kansas residents who own property will see a bill from their county collector or treasurer in the mail in the coming weeks. KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us more about what taxpayers should expect.
You might be thinking about what's coming in the mail for Christmas already, but there is something else you should be expecting.
November 4th, the tax bills, tax statements, real and personal, will go in the mail.
For some Missouri residents, 60 and older, you could see something different on your bill this year.
The tax bills this year will reflect a senior property tax credit if you applied and qualified and got approved. And if you got approved, you got an approval letter from the county commission, so you should know.
But if you missed out on the application this year, real estate owners will also receive an application notice along with their tax bill, which they can apply for next year.
So you can pay online, in person, on mail, and we have a drop box here in Carthage and one in Joplin. You can drop it in the drop box.
If you're wondering where your tax money is going to, well, your bill explains that as well.
It lists the taxing districts. It could be going to the state, it could be the county, it could be to the mental health, it could be the school, it could be a road district, but it'll say on your tax bill where it goes.
Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Kansas residents should expect to see their tax bills soon as well. The first half of those bills will be due on December 20th. In Missouri, the whole tax bill is due by December 31st. Badges and Burgers is frying up some good burgers in Webb City community spirit. Firefighters were working the grill, police were running delivery, and city employees were packing it all up. Police and firefighters joined forces to raise money for Webb City charities.
The support's there every day. This is just an opportunity for them to help out as well. I think we cooked 700. The firefighters cooked 700 burgers today.
This is the 27th year of the Burgers and Badges event. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley spoke with KOAM about the growing impact of the government shutdown, saying it's unfair to federal workers and families relying on SNAP benefits.
I mean, this is just outrageous. For 30 days, federal workers, federal law enforcement, all of these good folks have been going without pay. And here's the real thing. These needy families now, they are going to be really hurt come Saturday. And they shouldn't be. This is just wrong. And I call on Congress to reopen. If we can't do that, then we need to pass my legislation to make sure that needy families get their food assistance.
Hawley says he's working with Democrats and Republicans to move his Keep SNAP Funded Act forward. Legislation that would ensure food assistance continues during the shutdown. Daylight saving time ends this weekend as clocks across 4 states and elsewhere fall back 1 hour. Some lawmakers, including Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, says it's time to end the clock change altogether, calling the twice-a-year switch outdated and disruptive for families and workers.
Agriculture and in so many other areas, just a lot of people don't like it. They may like it in the fall when they get an extra hour of sleep. They hate it in the spring. I'm trying to actually move to say we don't need to do time change anymore. The state of Arizona was given an exemption years ago. They still have a productive economy. We need to allow states to be able to make the decision across the entire country if they want to do time change or not. I think the vast majority of them would say, no, we don't want to do time change. Let's just set the clock, lock it, and then we'll do just that.
Lankford is backing the Sunshine Protection Act, a federal proposal that would make daylight saving time permanent nationwide. But this year at least, clocks will fall back 1 hour at 2 a.m. on Sunday. All right, now let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at the weather.
Well, we do have, of course, Halloween coming up, so our forecast is looking pretty strong. We've got temperatures that may hit in the low 60s and then drop down through the 50s rather quickly once the sun sets. Now, we do have a freeze advisory, or frost advisory, excuse me, for all of our counties across the 4 states, and this is until 9 a.m. on Friday, though we may have another one issued for Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to be a pretty chilly weekend, though not expecting much in the way of rain. We could get some sprinkles early Saturday morning, though won't be big disruption to your Saturday. Now, currently temperatures are dropping down into the mid 40s in Joplin area. Friday, again, our temperature is getting into the low 60s, but much cooler for the weekend after a front moves in Friday night. But I'll have all those details coming up.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. Authorities investigate 2 separate fires in Newton County, Missouri. In one, a woman is found dead. In the other, a woman is arrested for a suspected arson. First, authorities have not yet released the name of a woman whose body was discovered in the ruins of a burned home yesterday. When authorities got to the house on Highway HH west of Fairview, it was already engulfed in flames. They battled that fire through most of the afternoon and into the evening before finding the woman's body inside. The Newton County Sheriff's Office and State Fire Marshal are now conducting a joint investigation to determine the cause of that fire. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Authorities believe another earlier Newton County fire yesterday afternoon is unrelated and appears to be arson. This one happened at an unoccupied home on Highway 0. Authorities received information of a suspicious vehicle that was spotted leaving the scene shortly after the fire. They then spotted a vehicle matching that description and arrested the woman inside. She's 28-year-old Cheyenne Ingman of Shell Knob, Missouri. Investigators say they discovered electrical wiring in her car and determined the abandoned home was set on fire after wiring was removed. Coming up, changing views on Tylenol safety despite medical evidence.
RFK Jr. tones down his attacks on Tylenol as Texas files a lawsuit claiming the drug causes autism. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
And from Vietnam to peaceful waters, veterans discover boating therapy. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is softening his language on Tylenol. He's now admitting there is no direct evidence it causes autism. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
President Trump made it clear he is no fan of Tylenol after his HHS Secretary RFK Jr. claimed the drug is causing autism when taken during pregnancy. The president went even further than Kennedy, writing on social media, quote, "Don't use Tylenol unless absolutely necessary. Don't give Tylenol to your young child for virtually any reason." But on Wednesday, the secretary offered a more measured assessment, admitting there is no strong link between acetaminophen use and autism.
The causative association is not sufficient to say it definitely causes autism.
That's significant because earlier this week, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the makers of Tylenol, accusing the company of marketing a product it knew was dangerous. In a statement, Paxton claimed, quote, "These corporations lied for decades, knowingly endangering millions." But most healthcare providers are pushing back, pointing out decades of studies show no link between autism and acetaminophen.
The occasional use is by all means considered very safe, and that is backed up by the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
Kennedy now says pregnant women should talk to their doctors instead of throwing away the Tylenol.
Our message to patients, to mothers, to people who are pregnant, to the mothers of young children is consult your physician.
The Texas lawsuit is the first of its kind since President Trump made the initial claim about Tylenol and autism. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
A boat club is helping veterans with PTSD find peace on the water. Retired Navy Captain Wayne Fernandez says he spent more than 30 years at sea. He served during Vietnam and during other conflicts where the water wasn't peaceful, but now it's a refuge for him. Fernandez and his wife try to get out with the Freedom Boat Club once a week. The club supports veterans' mental health with access to boating.
Go to church too, but you're closer to God in nature than you are in a building.
The VA recommends fishing, sailing, and other boating-related activities for veterans. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, a program uses an inflatable earth to inspire some young minds in southeast Kansas.
It has been a chilly couple of days. Now, today was the first day in a while that we finally got to see some sunshine. We can go ahead and take a look at our 36-hour trend, and you can see that sunshine did us a great deal. We jumped up from the upper 40s yesterday to the upper 50s today. The sunshine tomorrow will bring us up even more. Temperatures getting into the low 60s. That's close to average, though slightly above. I think normally we're sitting around 60 to 61. Now Saturday we do have a drop in temperatures from a overnight cold front Friday night and into Saturday morning. Now, Saturday morning low is still going to be in the low 40s. When we get overcast skies at night, doesn't typically give us the chance to cool down overnight. But by Saturday night and into Sunday, temperatures plummet down below freezing. So we could see temperatures even getting into the upper 20s, especially further out east. But we're right back up into the 40s. We actually go into a warm up next week. So if you don't like the cold, we have a little bit more of a chance to warm back up before the cold really sticks around. Now tonight we are under a frost advisory for all of our counties across the 4 states until 9 a.m. You can see current temperatures are already dropping down close to the 30s already. 41 in Stockton, 46 still in Joplin, 38 in Neodesha. Now, temperatures tonight will be in the low 30s, though most of them are not going to be dropping below freezing, just right around that mark. Now, you can see taking a look downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. It is overall, other than chilly, a pretty nice night leading into a pretty nice holiday. Temperatures are warming up, so we're going to be in the 60s, mid to low 60s across the 4 states. Then temperatures drop down again into the lower 50s, down into the 40s for our overnight low. Now, heading into Friday morning, we get a little bit of some clouds to start our day off, maybe give us a spooky start to the holiday. Now, by early afternoon, more clouds roll in, and this is along the cold front, though not expecting much in the way of rain chances. We can't rule it out. So about 6:30, could see some maybe light sprinkles if this makes it down to the surface, but this is going to be very, very light as it continues to push in. Most of us will stay dry. We only have a 10% chance of rain Friday night and into Saturday. But in some of these darker green areas, especially out maybe towards Springfield, just east of Springfield, could get a little bit more chances for rain. Now, 4:30 on Saturday, some darker spots means that we could get some light showers, light sprinkles, but it takes off after it moves out of our area. So until then, we're just going to be dealing with some pretty chilly temperatures again tonight, dropping down into the mid to low 30s, but again, below freezing on Saturday night into Sunday. And then right after that, we're jumping back up into the 40s and 50s for the overnight low. Most of the week next week is actually going to be pretty warm and sunny.
We went kind of from summer to winter and now into fall.
Yeah.
We're getting things out of order a little bit. Thanks. 5th and 6th graders at Chinook Christian Academy got a unique perspective of the planet we all call home. KOAM's Kenny Foreman takes us inside the Earth balloon.
It's a view that will leave everyone wanting more.
I think the vibrancy of the way that they're presented just makes it look much more real life, almost like you're seeing it from outer space.
It's all part of the Neosho County Conservation District's effort to educate young students on what makes planet Earth so special. Before they stepped inside the inflatable sphere, District Manager Joyce Kramer gave the students a presentation on a very valuable resource.
They can visualize how much water is actually on Earth by seeing the Earth balloon, and then by breaking it down into our usable water, really hits home on how little bit of that water is actually consumable water.
Of course, much of the information that the students learned inside the balloon can be found on a map, but sometimes a more visual experience can be the difference maker when it comes to retaining that knowledge.
We let them explore a globe, which also can fit in their hands, but the Earth balloon is think they said 20 feet tall, and it is mind-blowing when you walk in and see it in grand scale. It's so exciting for the kids. Every time they walk in, they just kind of gasp. It's beautiful.
The district hopes that presentations like this can get the next generation to gain a better appreciation for what Earth has to offer.
I just hope they take away that, Earth is precious to us, and our natural resources are precious to us, and it'll get them more aware on pollution and such.
In Chanute, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Earth Balloon Incorporated has made its way around schools nationwide since 1992. The one on display is one of two in the state of Kansas. Coming up next, President Trump considers nuclear tests after the China meeting.
President Trump suggests the U.S. could break a decades-long ban and resume testing nuclear weapons. I'm Rebecca Castor with the details coming up.
Artificial intelligence has been blamed for recent job cuts at some of the biggest companies. But recent data says that's not quite accurate. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth explains.
Major companies across the U.S. are announcing job cuts and pointing to AI. And while artificial intelligence is part of the reason why we're seeing these, there is more. We saw the highest Q3 layoffs since 2020. And the biggest reason why companies are cutting jobs are because of DOGE actions. Then market and economic conditions, with technological updates like AI coming in last. Some analysts note that companies are cutting back after a rapid increase of hiring during the pandemic. That's particularly important for the tech and services industry, like Amazon. Amazon says they will be cutting 14,000 jobs, eliminating about 10% of its white-collar workforce. The company pointing to a need to be, quote, organized more leanly with fewer layers. But we also know that Amazon will spend approximately $100 billion on capital expenditures in 2025, with the vast majority being dedicated to building out AI capabilities. That is why Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is watching how companies handle artificial intelligence.
You see a significant number of companies either announcing that they are not going to be doing much hiring or actually doing layoffs, and much of the time they're talking about AI and what it can do. So we're watching that very carefully, and yes, it could absolutely have implications for job creation.
Amazon is just the latest in a growing list of white-collar cuts from a range of companies, including Meta, Microsoft, JP Morgan, Target, Walmart, Nestle, and UPS. In the case of UPS, it has cut 48,000 workers in 2025 alone, just 2 years after Teamsters chief Sean O'Brien struck a deal to raise driver pay to an average of about $80 an hour over a 5-year period. We spoke to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang about these job cuts at his AI conference. And he said, you won't lose your job to AI, you will lose your job to someone who adopts AI. But I'm not sure how the employees at Amazon feel about that today. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
It's a scary time of year, not just because of Halloween, but college application deadlines are casting shadows for a lot of families. The deadline for high school students to apply early decision or early action is November 1st. It's viewed as a way for students who feel certain about their dream school to increase their chances of getting in, especially at Ivy Leagues, where competition is extremely tight. But some experts say students should focus on picking the right major rather than prestige. Coming up next, the government shutdown creates growing economic pressures on workers. Emotions are running high on Capitol Hill as time is running out on millions of people who are either counting on government benefits or praying for a paycheck. Republicans continue to plead with Democrats to pass a so-called clean funding bill, but so far it does not have the votes to pass the Senate. Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram has our update.
It's putting stress on people. The first couple of weeks this had no impact on the economy, but as every day goes by, the impacts start to grow.
It's not just pressure in the air, but on the ground.
Pass a clean CR, get to the table, negotiate a deal. Do not put working people in the middle of a problem.
Republicans blaming Democrats.
Do Democrats have any end date in sight? When the economy is in ruins,
Republicans convinced Democrats are on the verge of crumbling.
No talk. It's going to happen next week. Why? Just because the carnage is piling up and Democrats are getting hurt more than they're being helped.
SNAP benefits expire on Saturday. Federal workers will miss a second paycheck.
We know the real pain is about to hit.
But Democrats are questioning why the union representing federal workers truly wants the shutdown to end.
If we voted for this bill and President Trump fired people next week, they would come to me and say, why the hell did you vote for that bill?
Democrats not budging. Republicans seem convinced that Democrats are on the verge of caving. We're not going to turn around Wednesday or Thursday morning next week and there's going to be a big turnaround here, is there?
Republicans have been delusional from the very beginning of this government shutdown situation.
Activists pushing the Democrats' demands to subsidize Obamacare.
People are dying from policy violence.
Vice President Vance said it's not all Democrats who are responsible for the shutdown.
It's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party because, to their great credit, 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Senate Republicans to vote to reopen the government.
There were ground delays of up to 90 minutes at Reagan National Airport on Thursday due to staffing issues. It came as senators left Washington for the weekend. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says his flight was among those delayed. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. ICE enforcement expands across the Midwest amid community backlash. And a possible U.S.-China trade breakthrough amid new nuclear weapons concerns.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
President Trump is on his way back to Washington after a busy few days in Asia, where he locked in more trade and investment deals and met with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. The two leaders agreed to ease trade tensions, but there could be another point of contention on the horizon after the Trump administration announced the U.S. will resume testing its nuclear weapons. Fox's Rebecca Castor has details from Washington.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China.
President Donald Trump seemingly satisfied after a sit-down with Chinese President Xi Jinping, saying the U.S. is lowering tariffs on Chinese imports after they reached agreements on fentanyl, U.S. soybeans, and China's rare earth minerals. A much-needed de-escalation in their up-and-down trade war.
It is normal for the two leading economies of the world to have frictions now and then. I'm ready to continue working with you.
But tensions could escalate on a different front. Just before a sit-down with Xi, Trump posted this online. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis.
If they're going to test, I guess we have to test.
North Korea is the only known country to test nuclear weapons over the past 2 decades. The U.S., China, and Russia all stopped in the 1990s. But last week, Russia tested a new long-range cruise missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Despite his order to the Pentagon, Trump is still advocating for denuclearization.
It's something we are actually talking to Russia about that, and China would be added to that if we do something.
A Chinese spokesman urged the U.S. to refrain from any nuclear tests, while a Kremlin spokesman said if any country resumes warhead testing, Russia would respond accordingly. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
ICE agents' tactics are criticized again in Chicago as the Illinois governor asks federal authorities to lay off families and children over the Halloween weekend. The Department of Homeland Security says their efforts have been a resounding success. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
ICE and Border Patrol agents have regularly clashed with protesters in the city of Chicago. Some in the community say the tactics are too aggressive. Video taken last weekend shows agents using tear gas at a Halloween parade.
Even if ICE stops doing whatever they're doing right now, people are going to be traumatized.
But Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem calls it a success, with Operation Midway Blitz resulting in more than 3,000 arrests.
Every day we're on the streets of Chicago arresting people who have committed murders, rapists, those who are trafficking drugs and have been victimizing that city for years.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the operation isn't just going after violent criminals. He says it has expanded to people in the country illegally who are otherwise following the law.
Don't believe it when they tell you that they're busting the worst of the worst gangs or gang members. They're attacking peaceful neighborhoods and terrorizing kids in Halloween parades.
Pritzker has called on DHS to pause its operations during the Halloween weekend, saying kids shouldn't have to worry about encountering immigration patrols. Secretary Noem says there are no plans to slow down.
No, we're going to be out on the streets in full force and increase our activities to make sure kids are safe.
DHS says its operation has also expanded to highways in Indiana, where more than 140 truck drivers have been arrested for being in the country illegally. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at the Forecast Plus.
This week on our Doing Good series, we'll speak with a group of volunteers who are helping people take their next step. I'm Ty Parks, and I'll have that story coming up.
Today was one of the first days we've seen the sun in almost a week, and it was also a warmer day. We can go ahead and take a look at our 36-hour temperature trend. Yesterday, we only hit the upper 40s. It was cloudy and dreary, just downright cold out there. Now temperatures dropped down to the mid 30s this morning. We got up to upper 50s. Now it's not the end of our warm up. We get into the low 60s for our Halloween holiday, which is going to be really nice. You won't have to worry too much during the day about cooler temperatures, but later in the evening we are going to see temperatures dropping back down, and we have a cold front coming in, dropping temperatures over the weekend back into the 50s. Now our low Friday night and into Saturday only getting down to the low 40s, maybe upper 30s, but then heading into Saturday night into Sunday morning, near freezing and even slightly below. So we do have a frost advisory only for tonight, not including tomorrow night, but we'll likely have another one issued for Saturday night. Now this is until 9 a.m. on Friday. Frost advisory for all of our counties with temperatures dropping near freezing tonight. Already in the low 40s across the board and upper 30s out there in Parsons and Neodesha, 42 in Miami, 45 in Neosho. Overall, not a bad night, mostly clear skies, and that continues into Friday as well. Now taking a look downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. It's one of the nicer nights we've seen again in about a week. Luckily for us, Halloween is also looking just as nice with temperatures reaching the low 60s, mostly sunny for earlier in the afternoon to mid-afternoon, but we do have some clouds moving in there overnight on Friday as well. So heading into Friday morning, could see some clouds earlier in the day, but really we do get a good amount of sunshine throughout the day. That gives us the ability to warm up into the 60s before more clouds start to roll in. Now overnight Friday and into early Saturday is when we could start to see maybe some light sprinkles. Most of us will stay dry. A lot of this kind of pushes off towards the Springfield side and out towards central southern Missouri. We are going to see a potential for some very light brief showers by early Saturday morning. This is going to be about 4 to 5 a.m. You can see just out there near Lamar, maybe out near Independence, some of those darker areas where some showers could reach the surface. Now it explodes once it's moved out of our area, but we're just going to be dealing with some pretty chilly temperatures. Again, heading into Friday, we see 31 in Lockwood, so below freezing, near freezing in Lamar, Nevada, Fort Scott, Joplin, and Pittsburgh, even Baxter Springs, mid-30s. So overall, won't get too cold tonight, but as we head into Saturday, Sunday morning, low 30s for nearly all of us, and even getting into the upper 20s for a few of us. So we could even see a potential freeze, maybe a freeze advisory issued for Saturday night into Sunday. But we warm up next week, back into the 60s, sunny, even 70s.
A thaw after the frost on the pumpkin.
Exactly.
Lindsay, thanks. Still ahead this weekend is the 57th matchup between the Pitt State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions in football. Coming up in sports, we're going to hear from both teams as we preview this year's Miners Bowl.
For our high school teams in Kansas and Missouri, they are gearing up for the playoffs this week. But at the collegiate level, it's rivalry week with the Miners Bowl on Saturday between the 9th-ranked Pitt State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions. The Gorillas are coming off their bye week, which put them in a weird situation. While it was a good reset for the team health-wise, as players got some extra rest and recovery, the off week came in the middle of a 6-game winning streak for Pitt State. But the Gorillas are relying on their urgency, following a tough start to the season, in order to maintain that momentum they've gained over their last 6 matchups.
I go back and forth on a bye week because you hate to have a bye week when you have a lot of momentum going in your favor. So, hopefully our kids handled the bye week well. I think we got some guys back healthy that were a little banged up. Bye weeks can go one of two ways. It can either be really advantageous for you or, hopefully your guys don't come out flat. And that's our goal Saturday is just come out fast and play well and execute at a high level.
We've been in playoff mode since pretty much game 3. So, we've already had the urgency every week to come out and just get one every week. So like you said, with us taking the week off, it didn't really stop the momentum because we still made sure in practice that we did everything at a high level.
As for the Lions, they come into this matchup with a 3-5 record. But don't be fooled by that, as 4 of those losses were decided by just 1 score. It's been a trying season for the Lions, but they've greatly improved from 2024. On average, the defense is allowing 13 less points per contest this year. And this week, head coach Atiba Bradley described the challenges of losing so many close calls.
Last year, when we were in these games, it was kind of over in the third quarter. You know what I mean? So you started your grieving process in the game. Whereas now we're in these 1-score games that emotionally and mentally you're in it all the way through the end. It does show signs of growth because we are competing. We're right there. We're just a few plays away. But I think that growth is painful. That growth is frustrating. That growth is trying.
The Gorillas and Lions clash on Saturday in the jungle at Carney Smith Stadium. Kickoff at 2 p.m. as Pitt State looks for their 11th straight win over Missouri Southern. The Pitt State cross-country teams are coming off strong showings at the MIAA Championships this past Saturday at Four Oaks Golf Course in Pittsburgh. And after leading the women's squad to their 4th straight conference title, head coach Ben Barrows has been named the MIAA Women's Cross-Country Coach of the Year. Barrows joined the Gorillas in 2017, and in the past 9 seasons, he and Pitt State have won 9 conference championships, 7 women's titles, and 2 men's. This is Barrows' 4th Conference Coach of the Year award. He won the women's crown back-to-back in 2022 and 23, while sweeping the recognition as the men's Coach of the Year in 2023 as well. That's it for sports. We're back with more after the break.
For some people, the barrier they face to a better life is getting a valid ID. Ty Park sits down with the volunteers at the Joplin Next Steps to see how they're doing good.
A group of volunteers are giving people the next step to improve their lives.
In a lot of cases, it's proactive to homelessness. Like some of the people that are coming in are just the general public, but they're struggling with the $15 or the $35 to get their credentials that they need, or they just can't navigate the system because it is complicated.
Joplin Next Step has helped over 1,100 people since they started in 2021.
You have to have an ID to do anything in life, to get a job, to get any kind of benefits from the state, anything. You literally can't, you cannot progress yourself in life without that identification. And I feel like that's the first stepping stone.
They're located right next to Souls Harbor, which is prime location to help the ones that need it the most. But they are not just here for important documents.
And we also have a food pantry, an emergency food pantry. People that get on the Facebook page and they don't, their SNAP benefits or something are out for the moment, and they got 2 kids, they still need some food to last for the rest of the week till they get their card refilled. We help them out.
The next step isn't about stopping, it's about opening the door to support.
See that we're doing good here in the community, and maybe support us if they were able to, because that's always with it, just like any other nonprofit anywhere. Finances are always the issue.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The Next Step is also hosting a Saturday meal this weekend at the Mini Hackney Center from noon until 2. The Carthage Technical Center is celebrating a milestone marking 60 years of career and technical education in the community. School leaders hosted the anniversary event this afternoon. The center first opened in 1965 with just 4 teachers. It's grown to more than 30 staff members and offers 12 career pathways, including agriculture, manufacturing, computer science, culinary arts, health sciences, and public safety. Up next, the Bundy family reunites and Radcliffe returns to Broadway. A beloved sitcom family is getting back together, and a headline-making standoff becomes a movie. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has all of the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
I'm a man that's fighting for everything that he owns, sir.
Skarsgård's new thriller, Radcliffe's stage return, and an iconic TV family reunites in the Hollywood Nation.
I'm just having the time of my life.
The Bundys are getting back together for a good cause. Ed O'Neill, Katie Sagal, Christina Applegate, and David Faustino will reunite for an evening with the Bundys, the Married with Children cast reunion. The one-night live event will benefit the organization Race to Erase MS, a cause close to Applegate following her MS diagnosis in 2021. It will take place at the Wiltern in Los Angeles on January 28th and feature behind-the-scenes stories and laughs from the hit sitcom's 11-season run. Daniel Radcliffe is heading back to Broadway. The Tony winner will star in the one-man show Every Brilliant Thing at the Hudson Theater. The 13-week limited run kicks off with previews February 21st, ahead of opening night March 12th. The play follows a man who creates a list of life's small joys to help his mother battle depression. Radcliffe last took the stage in Merrily We Roll Along, which wrapped July 2024.
These people betrayed me.
In today's First Looks, Dead Man's Wire brings a real-life hostage crisis to the big screen. The trailer stars Bill Skarsgård as Tony Kuritzis, a former real estate developer who, in 1977, took a banker hostage with a wired shotgun, sparking a 63-hour standoff which unfolded live on TV. The film hits theaters January 9th and expands nationwide January 16th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of lions at Whipsnade Zoo in the United Kingdom treating some Halloween-themed snacks. Let's make it a great tomorrow.